for, say, inmates who might have diabetes or other health issues, as well as those who need to be isolated with cases such as TB. Going up the tower and looking at the circulation is in purple the main corridor, a nice 10-foot wide corridor. Most of the inmates would circulate via secure elevators at this end with fire stair, and then there's 2 fire stairs at the north and south sides with a staff elevator. Tower level 3, again, you'll see why the importance of stacking these pods. There are 4 medium housing pods, and there are 2 separation housing pods filling out this floor. Tower level 4 is medium-high housing on this level, and then maximum housing. And again, very simple circulation that's important in a jail facility with clear lines of sight, 1 central corridor for inmate movement, and inmate elevators with a officer control station observing movement as necessary. And tower level 5 is available should the budget allow for future shell expansion, and Kirk can talk about those issues later on. One thing I didn't mention was the intent of the housing areas was to have what's called a rear chase access, which means that the plumbing for the cells occurs on the exterior, and the secure wall of the building is the back of the cells. What that allows us to do is provides freedom for what the exterior of the building looks like, because it's no longer a security wall, and it could be any number of materials, and we'll look at some concepts in a few slides. So we'll go back, keep going back, continue forward then, level 5. And then going to the existing jail, it currently is 3 levels, and the second and third levels we're proposing that there are no significant alterations, perhaps some repainting and so forth. But the first level is the one that has most of the changes, because we have the tower on the left that needs to tie into this area, as well as we'll look at the low-risk wing to the north. So we'll be utilizing existing mechanical areas. We'll be introducing a new circulation system for security purposes, food service, staff entry will be coming up from the bottom of the screen, as well as laundry facilities. So it's a real functional space on the first floor. Now we'll go up to what's called the low-risk wing, which would be along what street on the north thing? Irwin Street, that's right. In which we have a secure corridor providing access to storage areas, maintenance, commodity storage, functional areas. There'd also be an access for work release inmates who are going to be residing in the low-risk wing and then reporting there as they go and return from their work activities. There would be a connection revision to the tunnel that connects to the jail on that level. That's the lower level. The way the site slopes, the first floor of the jail becomes the lower level at this elevation, because the site slopes up to the north towards Irwin. Above this floor then we have the lowest risk housing areas, these dormitories that have 48 beds each, and they're arranged around a very simple, clear, secure corridor with elevator circulation for goods and services, stair access for the work release program. And then we're stacking this as well with the opportunity on the third level to have additional dorm wings and space for future expansion if additional dorms are desired. Exterior options, as I mentioned with the design of the rear chase, we have given some thought, and there will be a lot more options explored as we go into further design. Right now this view would be looking northeast. Here's Broadway on this side and Elm on this side. As we mentioned earlier, the main entry would be near the corner on Elm, back from Broadway. And the sheriff's jail administration portion here in a low one-story unit. But the jail tower that's shown here is 5 levels. The top level is a shell space at this point. In this concept, if the shell space is not built, then the building, of course, would be about 1/5 lower. Looking at opportunities for different skin materials, and we'd be exploring the context of the downtown area, the streetscape that would work best to fit in with the Broadway Avenue design. And the next slide is another concept in which, as you can see with the concept that there are a lot of opportunities because the exterior is not a secure wall, to skin the building in various materials. We want to make sure that there is a permanence to the structure, low maintenance, but also that it blends in with the downtown area. And let me go back, I forgot, Kurt mentioned on the low risk. In this view here, here's Irwin right here. The low risk building has opportunity because there are very limited windows to introduce some panels or relief areas in the wall so that it can relate to the scale of some of the other buildings in that area. This would be a two-story structure, and we look at some of the architectural characteristics of the area to tie that facade so that it's not just a blank wall.
Larry, if I could for just a minute, I'm going to brag on Larry and Kurt just a little bit on their work here. They've been able to get these beds into this compact footprint, and we've talked about this rear chase concept, which is different than what the typical kind of traditional jail cell design has been for years and years. There's some other benefits to the rear chase that users of our designs have found. One, that it is much less of a maintenance issue for staff. In the traditional kind of chase, where the chase is in the day room, they have to lock down that unit. Frequently, inmates will flood toilets and cause other havoc in the cells, and maintenance staff have to constantly come in and fix those things. Well, by having the chase in the rear, that's an area that's really a non-secure area, and maintenance staff has free reign in that area. They can come and go as they please and fix things and maintain things as they need to. They also have more room to work. They have a lot more room to work. If you've ever seen a plumber try to work on the back of a toilet fixture in a space that's a little bit bigger than the chair I was sitting on, that's an issue. Secondary one is that rear chase really acts as a buffer, and then on a day like today, a nice cold day like today, we're able to really condition the air out in that chase. It's non-conditioned, but it makes it much more cost-effective to heat and cool cells and heat and cool day rooms. And in addition to that, those exterior windows, those little gun port windows, are very expensive on the traditional jails. So we've eliminated those in this design. And we're able to get the daylight in through the inside of the facility that's required by Texas Jail Standards, required by ACA. But all those things combined have really saved dollars in terms of the upfront construction costs we're going to talk about. They're going to save dollars in terms of operations, and they're going to save dollars in terms of utility costs. So when you look at the overall life cycle cost of operating a facility like this compared to, I think, what's been traditional jail design over the years, there's a lot of benefits here for you folks. And thinking ahead, not just in the next few years of building it, but really 20, 30 years down the road.
Thanks, Jeff. Another item on this that you can see on these elevations that we're showing, we're looking at putting some low-sloped roofs up on the buildings. The higher one there, the larger building, you can see in this rendition here, you can begin to see the slopes. That we have a hip roof shown there. We understand the concern for not wanting flat roofs on the buildings, so we're going to try and incorporate those into the designs as we go further. We would do the same thing with this facility here. Last week we were able to get a meeting with the Texas Commission on Jail Standards, and Chief Pinkerton was able to get us a meeting set up on short notice, which was great because we were able to spend about 3.5 hours with them in Austin going over this complete conceptual design that we've just shown you. And in doing that, we had a lot of very good discussion about the types of beds that we're looking at building, the type of supervision we're going to have in the facility, how we're going to operate the jail. Those are all very good discussions that I think are very beneficial to have early on in any conceptual design, and it was very advantageous, I felt, to be able to go down there and really sit down one-on-one with them